Chapter 31 The Gnostic Esoteric Work. It is urgent to study Gnosis and to utilize the practical ideas, which we give in this book in order to work seriously on ourselves. Nonetheless, we cannot work on ourselves with the intention of dissolving this or that I without having previously observed it. The observation of oneself permits a ray of light to penetrate within our interior. Each eye manifests itself one way through the head, another way through the heart, and in another way through the sexual center. We need to observe the eye which we have captured at a given moment. It is urgent to see it in each of these three centers of our organism. If we are alert and vigilant, like a watchman in time of war, while relating with other people, we can then discover ourselves. Do you recall at what time your vanity was hurt by someone? Your pride? What was it that upset you the most during the day? Why did you have that vexation? What was its secret cause? Study this, observe your head, heart, and sexual center. Practical life is a marvelous school. So, through interaction with others is how we can discover those is that we carry within our interior. Any annoyance, any incident can lead us through inner self-observation to the discovery of any eye, whether it be of self-esteem, envy, jealousy, anger, covetousness, suspicion, calumny, lust, etc. We need to know ourselves before being capable of knowing others. It is urgent to learn to see others' point of view. If we place ourselves in the place of others, we discover that the psychological defects that we attribute to others exist in abundance within our interior. To love our neighbor is indispensable. However, in the esoteric work, if one does not firstly learn how to place his own self in the position of another person, such a one cannot love others. Cruelty will continue existing on the face of the earth as long as we have not learned to put ourselves in the place of others. But, if one does not have the courage of seeing himself, then how can one put himself in the place of others? Why should we only see the bad side of people? The mechanical antipathy towards another person that we meet for the first time indicates that we do not know how to put ourselves in the place of our fellow men. This indicates that we do not love our fellow men, that we have our consciousness extremely asleep. Do we feel antipathy towards a certain person? Why? Perhaps he drinks. Let us observe him. Are we certain of our virtue? Are we certain of not carrying the eye of drunkenness within our interior? When we see a drunkard doing all kinds of stupidities, it would be best if we said to ourselves, "This is me, what tomfoolery am I doing?" Are you an honest and virtuous woman and because of it you do not like a certain woman? Do you feel antipathy towards her? Why? Do you feel sure of yourself? Do you believe that you do not have the eye of lust within your interior? Do you think that this woman, discredited by her scandals and lasciviousness, is perverse? Are you sure that the lasciviousness and perversity that you see in that woman does not exist within your interior? It would be better to observe yourself intimately, and while in profound meditation you may occupy the place of that woman you despise. If, indeed, we yearn for a radical change, then it is urgent to value the Gnostic esoteric work. It is indispensable to comprehend and appreciate it. It is indispensable to know how to love our fellow men, to study Gnosis and to take these teachings to all people. Otherwise, we will fall into egotism. If one dedicates himself to the esoteric work on oneself, but does not give these teachings to others, his inner progress becomes then very difficult due to lack of love for our fellow men. For whosoever gives, to him shall be given, and the more he gives, the more he shall receive, but whosoever gives not, from him shall be taken away even what he has. This is the law. Chapter 32 Prayer in the work. Observation, judgment, and execution are the three basic factors of dissolution. First, one observes oneself. Second, judgment is passed. Third, execution takes place. In war, spies are first observed. Secondly, they are judged. Thirdly, they are shot. Self-discovery and self-revelation exist in our interrelationships. Therefore, whosoever renounces living together with his fellow man also renounces self-discovery. Any incident in life, regardless of how insignificant it may seem, undoubtedly has as its cause an intimate actor within us, a psychic aggregate, an I. Self-discovery is possible when we are in a state of alert perception, alert novelty, Any I discovered flagrantly must be carefully observed in our mind, heart, and sexual center. Any I of lust could manifest itself in the heart as love and in the mind as an ideal. Yet, as we pay attention to the sexual center, we may feel a certain morbid, unmistakable excitement. The judgment of any I must be definitive. We need to sit it down on the bench of the accused and judge it mercilessly. Evasion, justification, and consideration must be eliminated if in reality we want to be conscious of the I that we struggle to extirpate from our psyche. Execution is different. It would not be possible to execute any I without previously observing it and judging it. Prayer in the psychological work is fundamental for the dissolution of the I. We need a power superior to the mind if indeed we want to disintegrate this or that I. The mind by itself can never disintegrate any I. This is indisputable and irrefutable. To pray is to talk with God. We must appeal to God the Mother in the depths of our heart if we truly want to disintegrate is. The one who does not love his or her mother, the ungrateful child, will fail in the work upon himself. Each one of us has his or her particular, individual divine mother. She, in herself, is a part of our own being, but a derivative part. All ancient civilizations adored God the Mother within the most profound part of our being. The feminine principle of the Eternal One is Isis, Mary, Tanantzin, Cybele, Rhea, Idonia, Insabera, etc. If in our merely physical aspect we have a father and a mother, likewise, within the deepest part of our being we also have our Father who is in secret, as well as our Divine Mother Kundalini. There are as many fathers in heaven as there are humans on earth. God the Mother within our own intimacy is the feminine aspect of our Father who dwells in secret. He and she are certainly the two superior parts of our inner being. Undoubtedly, he and she are our very true being beyond the I or psychology. He unfolds into her. He commands, directs, instructs. She eliminates the undesirable elements which we carry in our interior with the condition that we continuously work on ourselves. Thus, when we have died radically, when all the undesirable elements have been eliminated, after many conscious labors and voluntary sufferings, then we shall fuse and integrate ourselves with our Father-Mother. Then, we shall be terribly divine gods beyond good and evil. Any of those as that have been previously observed and judged can be reduced to cosmic dust by means of the fiery powers of our own individual, particular Divine Mother. A specific formula in order to pray to our inner Divine Mother is not necessary. We must be very natural and simple when we address her. The child who addresses his or her mother never has a special formulae. The child utters what comes from his or her heart and that is all. No I is instantaneously dissolved. Our Divine Mother must work and even suffer very much before achieving the annihilation of any I. Make yourselves introversive, direct your prayer within, seeking within your interior your Divine Lady. Thus, with sincere supplications you shall be able to talk to her. Beg her to disintegrate the I that you have previously observed and judged. As the sense of self-observation develops, it shall permit you to verify the progressive advancement of your work. Comprehension and discernment are fundamental. Nonetheless, something more is necessary if indeed what we want is to disintegrate the myself. The mind can give unto itself the luxury of labeling any defect, passing it from one department to the other, exhibiting it, hiding it, etc. However, the mind can never fundamentally alter the defect. A special power superior to the mind is necessary, a fiery power that is capable of reducing any defect to ashes. Stella Maris, our Divine Mother, has that power. She is able to pulverize any psychological defect. Our Divine Mother lives in our intimacy, beyond the body, affections and the mind. She is, by herself, an igneous power superior to the mind. Our own particular, individual cosmic Mother possesses wisdom, love and power. Absolute perfection exists within her. Good intentions and their constant repetition lead nowhere. These are good for nothing. It serves no purpose to repeat, I will not be lustful, because within the very depth of our psyche the lasciviousness will continue to exist anyway. It is useless to repeat daily, I will not have anger, because within our psychological depths the is of anger will continue to exist. It would be useless to repeat daily, I will no longer be covetous, because within the different depths of our psyche these of covetousness shall continue to exist. It would be useless to separate ourselves from the world and lock ourselves up in a convent or live in a cavern, because these within us will continue to exist. Some hermits who isolated themselves within caves, based on rigorous disciplines, attained the ecstasy of the saints and were taken up to heaven. There they saw and heard things that are not easily comprehended by human beings. Nevertheless, there is continued to exist within their interior, unquestionably, the essence, through rigorous disciplines, can escape from within the eye. Thus, it enjoys ecstasy. However, after such bliss, the essence returns into the interior of the myself. Those who have become accustomed to ecstasy without having dissolved the ego believe that they have already reached liberation. They fool themselves by believing themselves to be masters. They even enter into the submerged evolution. Nonetheless, we are not pronouncing ourselves against mystical ecstasy, against the ecstasy and happiness of the soul while in the absence of the ego. We only want to place emphasis on the necessity of dissolving is in order to achieve the final liberation. The essence of any disciplined hermit accustomed to escaping from within the eye repeats such a feat after the death of his physical body. Then, his essence enjoys the ecstasy for some time. Yet, after such time, his essence returns as the genie of Aladdin's lamp, back into the interior of the lamp, the ego, the myself. Thereupon, he has no other choice but to return into a new physical body with the purpose of repeating his life on the stage of existence. Many mystics who lived and died in the caverns of the Himalayas in Central Asia reincarnated again and are now vulgar, common and current people in this world, in spite of the fact that their followers still adore and venerate them. Therefore, any attempt at liberation, no matter how great it might be, if it does not take into consideration the necessity of dissolving the ego, is condemned to failure. Samael Aun Weor,